Hello everyone, at GOTG back with another video, and in this video we are here to discuss the 2017 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics superhero team, Guardians of the Galaxy. This was produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. We have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and man, who is ready for round 2, because I sure am.
And here we go.
Again, Volume 2 of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, and the fact they call it that because of the tapes Peter's mother gave to him. Wow, what a time this thing was, and I'm going to be glazing this whole video, but man, I can hardly contain my excitement. This is one of my favorite movies in probably MCU history, crazy enough. I really like this movie. I feel like this will be a long-ass review, but there is so much to dive into with this film. Kurt Russell getting introduced here, fucking Sylvester Stallone, which they low-key underutilized and neglected, by the way, whatever. Pretty much all of the actors and actresses from the first film are carried over as well, with additions of those guys, and now we have new sights to see, more galaxies to cruise through and save. Again, we revisit the Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time. I guess we have another movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, coming up. That'll probably be late down the line. We got to get some of the core movies down first. They're entering stardom. Ha, get it, stars. They're now renowned as the saviors of the universe, and heck, Baby Groot is in this damn thing, and Vin Diesel have a voice editor for it. All the stars are aligning. I promise I'm going to be done with galactical jokes throughout the video. How could they possibly go wrong? Let's just get into the sucker. You guys know how these movie reviews go. I don't have to get into it, but getting into the premise first off, Peter Quill and his fellow Guardians are hired by a powerful alien race, the Sovereign, to protect their precious batteries from invaders, and that whole thing was pretty short-lived because it is discovered that Rocket has stolen the items they were sent to guard, which is fucking hilarious. Again, I will comment on the comedy throughout this video for sure, and the Sovereign dispatched their armada to search for vengeance. As the Guardians try to escape the mystery of Peter's parentage revealed, I mean, how crazy of a concept this film is to begin with. It sounds super goofy on the surface, but I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, if you don't really have a lot of clues about the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, go watch the first film and then watch this, because trust me, it sounds goofy, but I'll be damned, because they really pulled this thing off well. People on the internet put it best. It's basically a movie about daddy issues, and man, I've never seen a movie with that description as entertaining as this one. The fact that this started over some stolen batteries, that's just kind of the comedy of it all, but don't worry, there are plenty of more laughs where that came from. Also, the Sovereign being butthurt and looking for vengeance over some batteries, that's also hilarious now that I think about it. Let's go. Getting into the good, this is going to be a yap sesh. Let's just get started with the elephant in the room, a positive elephant I might add, and just talk about the soundtrack on this thing. I mean, man, the songs they used for this were pretty incredible, and yeah, I don't get much nostalgia, and yeah, I wasn't from the era of music or like just the time that this film contains with the music, but the songs in between scenes and the action with that in the background is absolutely perfect. You get Fleetwood Mac, you get Sam Cooke. Man, oh man, what a time that must have been. And honestly, kind of looking at the critical reception of this film, it's probably good that I didn't experience that much nostalgia with this, because it seemed to ruin the film for some people. I don't know. Some people gave this slightly more negative reviews because of it. I think the nostalgia bait too kind of adds to more of the comedy, which we will get into later. It's goofy, and I love that about it. There's not really anything that this movie could go wrong for me. There's obviously a bad section that's considerably long, but this is overwhelmingly good. The cheesy Walkman, I think that whole thing's awesome too. All of the dancing, and it kind of makes you yourself want to dance. It just adds to the overall fun of the movie. It's just a blast. Hell of a good time just overall this movie. Some people honestly didn't love this film, which is weird, but man, I had such a good time, and just the lore with Peter and his parentage was so cool, as it sort of remedies for that lack of lore in the first movie. Go watch my review on that, by the way. All of the characters interact with each other, I think, well. I mean, obviously there's some nitpicky things we could get into later on in the video. Peter's obviously Peter Quill, Star-Lord. We really get to know Peter rather than Star-Lord in this movie, which I love. He's kind of this goofy, nerdy guy who tries to get this stern Gamora into his passions as sort of a love interest, and there's definitely some weird stuff about their relationship, but overall, it's a pretty good time. Not that it really gets anywhere, not that this movie ever really gets anywhere in the first place. I think it's just a lot of fun. Ego kind of enticing Peter at first to run the world as Celestials with him, father and son, and until we kind of find out that he gave Peter's mom a tumor, and that was kind of cool. And I'm scattering around, but kind of getting into guys like Yondu. Yondu is a character, he made a huge jump, and what an opportunity Michael Rooker, aka we know him as Merle Dixon. I covered The Walking Dead on the channel, and you guys know me, I loved Merle Dixon. As an actor here, I think Michael Rooker really just took it to a whole nother level. I think it was great. More badass and snarkier than ever. His relationship with Rocket. They kind of connected as misfits and outcasts. Just so many new dynamics and so many original dynamics from the first film that he carried, and I think he was the best character in this movie 100%. That should have been its own spinoff with him and Rocket. I loved those two together, and obviously Groot being in there as well. Him continuing to kind of be the true father figure with Peter, with this sort of kind of like tough love relationship that they had, and going out as a hero that way, and the funeral with the Ravagers. Such a good character. I loved Yondu here. Baby Groot, obviously getting into him, is another character that you can't hate at all. There's nothing you can shit talk about him. It's fucking Groot as a baby. Groot was already funny in the first film. This whole development where he's like cut off as a twig, he's literally a twig. Yondu makes funny jokes about that, and then he like grows up. I think that's great. His youthfulness, innocence, lack of understanding, and even some sassy moments. He was a joy to be around in this movie. Baby Yoda before Baby Yoda, just the sweet spot in this universe. The button scene with Rocket trying to demonstrate how the detonator works, I loved that. That was one of my favorite scenes of the entire film. Rocket sort of started out as his father, and then later on when they showed Teen Groot, kind of a weird scene, whatever, Peter was almost his father. It was cool to see him rebirth and mature over the course of this movie, and it's going to be interesting because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to be a first watch for me. Volume 3, I should say. It's going to be interesting to see where Groot goes there, and overall just the intrigue going into that is great for my channel. We'll have to wait on that though. Sean Gunn playing Kraglin, once again, he did a pretty good job. Kraglin was a cool character, helped save the world a bit, despite being kind of a side character, kind of an afterthought. Him pounding his chest and being proud to be a Ravager at the memorial for Yondu, that's almost like a tearful moment. That was great. Love the good-heartedness of his character, just seemed like a good dude. Also, Rocket, getting into him, easily the funniest character in all of the MCU, has the most comedy out of everyone, really. His douchery and just the jokes he made, and how even when his life was damn near on the line, he still found a way to be an ass and make jokes. I loved him in this. Same old Rocket, of course, as well, with him stealing shit. He's hilarious. The whole taser face gag, everything about his comedy was very good. Moving on into Mantis, she was also kind of an interesting character, sort of naive and alien in every sense of the word, and her relationship with Dave Bautista as Drax was intriguing throughout. I thought she was an attractive creature, by the way. I don't know what the fuck Drax was on there. Very attractive actress. I can't remember her name. I'll pull it up. Her sort of helping save the world with this power of feeling what others feel. That was pretty cool to me. Getting into Nebula, her and Gamora had some decent dynamics, although I was still pretty mixed on her character throughout. It's fine. I like how they made up at the end of the film, but there's other things surely that we don't have to mention it. Just that whole rivalry and how it was always going to end in a hug was great. Just like the wholesomeness. Just this movie was wholesome in general, I think. Drax, getting into him, just loved his brutal honesty and like his snarkiness, and again his aggressive physical nature kind of contrasting with this calming, chill personality, chill guy whenever someone doesn't piss him off. Again, a guy you would want to be friends with, and he's a very interesting character to follow throughout this film. Not sure if I've said this already, but everything good about the first film I can basically apply here. If you want to go watch that video, please do. Everything from that movie damn near applies to this, damn near better. Again, them taking part of this comic book universe that about 90% of people were clueless on, and making it a fantastic experience once again, and just expanding on their characters. I loved to see that here. Also, the fact that this isn't connected in any way to the rest of the universe. You don't have to worry about some like multiverse corn or anything in there. It's pretty much its own thing, and how well they continue to pull that off, that's another positive you can give to this. That doesn't always work with Marvel. I mean, Eternals, the Marvels, you get what I'm talking about. Not really a character either that you can hate here, just great all around. Everyone was casted perfectly. We'll get into a few character nuances later on. It's hard to actually make me laugh too, just kind of getting into the comedy and stuff. Man, I loved it. Again, the comedy is hilarious. I loved it. I love how unserious this movie is. Like I mentioned, this all started over some damn stolen batteries. Fucking funny. That makes up for the lack of the story, honestly, which, yeah, this does lack a little bit of story, but it's funny. It's hard to make me actually laugh, and this movie did plenty of times, and I applaud it for that. I think the cultural references and just how glued to people like David Hasselhoff that the characters were added to that. Could the movie have been grander? Yes. Did it need to? I don't think so. Getting into the bad, I know I kind of touched on him at the beginning of the video, but honestly I'm not a huge fan of Ego as a character. He was fine as a villain, I don't even know. I guess the dumbass gold people were villains, but he definitely made for a tough opponent to the Guardians as a Celestial, literally a god. But just his outlook on the world and how, yeah, I killed your mother so I could solely rule the world as a Celestial, I just didn't like that, and it didn't seem like something Kurt Russell should be casted for. Kurt Russell is a legend, and I don't think they utilized him too well. And getting into that, I mean, Sylvester Stallone definitely could have been in this film more. It's fine. I don't know. Not much of a charmer and appeal to ego, for me at least. Not really a personality to him. He doesn't quite feel like Peter's dad either. I'm not really sure about it. I don't really like this character that much. The whole deadbeat angle, now I want to come back and elevate you as the god that you are. Whatever. I wouldn't say this was forced or anything. I mean, they had the allure at the beginning. They told the story. They had the flashbacks of him and Peter's mom and that orb, which came back to terrorize everyone later on. But something about him just being revealed like, boom, I'm your father, by the way. That was weird. It seemed like a plot twist, even though it really shouldn't be. I don't know. Also, I think they sort of teased that Earth would be involved with this film, with the cutscenes of this blue shit, whatever the fuck it is, getting to the planet, and them not integrating that better into this world was kind of weird to me. I would actually like Thor being mixed in with the real world to an extent was pretty successful, and I do think that Guardians of the Galaxy could have some success as a franchise doing that. I mean, I know it's supposed to be galactical fun. It is in the title, Guardians of the Galaxy as a whole. Why would we isolate it to Earth? But still, it would have been cool, again, to see some of the fighting go to Earth, and maybe they did that in the third film. I don't know. I haven't watched it. Please don't spoil it for me in the comments, but yeah, I don't know. Overall, as well, I did find the second act overall strange, just kind of messing around, but I guess the redeeming quality of that is there were plenty of laughs in there, so that's cool. I do think it was a little strange too, how we barely got scenes with everyone together, but the tandems that were developed off that weren't bad. Getting into the sovereign people at the end here just to end the bad were fucking stupid, by the way. Let's all as a collective just dismiss them completely, okay? We can completely forget that they were even in the film because they were far from memorable. I like the arcade stuff with like the remote control ships and like, oh, you died, your screen goes to black, kind of playing with like the nostalgia factor. With the arcade games and the whole Pac-Man stuff is cool too, but you guys didn't need to be here at all, honestly. Getting into the okay, I think honestly Baby Groot should have been treated more as a main character than this kind of cuteness overload comedic relief. He did set the detonator properly, which was a great moment, but he could have been in this film a little bit more. I'm not mad at that though, to be honest. Also, I would have liked to see Thanos in here, but that is okay as well. Again, just kind of getting away from this multiverse that they try to do on all these movies. It's all okay. Again, I'm a bit mixed also on the fact that Star-Lord and Gamora's relationship still hasn't hit that level, even though I feel like inevitably it's headed in that direction, but at the same time, again, knowing another movie is on the way, I can wait a little longer, but come on, Marvel, you better bring it in Volume 3, please. You better have this relationship go to that next level, or else it's not going to be worth it. Hopefully Volume 3 doesn't fucking disappoint, because there's a lot of things weighing on it based on how good this movie was. And is this movie a little cheesy? Sure, but I don't give a damn. It was great. Again, I will admit things get a little ridiculous with some of the writing stunts they pull, but this movie is just overwhelmingly good to me. I don't know what to say. I may just pop it in when I go to bed tonight just so I can experience it again. I think this was a hell of a movie. I promise I'm almost done talking, but Star-Lord and his interactions with basically all of the characters was kind of bleh for me as well. Felt pretty half-ass. I do think Chris Pratt as an actor in this film was kind of half-assed, but that's whatever. That's the okay. Getting into the review, pull up the tier list. I say this all the time that it is hard to get a better sequel than the original in any film franchise, but it seems like Marvel does it decently often, and I have no clue how. This isn't just like a common thing. You don't just go out and make the second film better than the first. That never hardly happens, because you look at like horror franchises, whether it be the old slashers or some of the new like Insidious films and all that stuff, or even any like the DC franchises, you know, Batman, Superman, all this stuff, Suicide Squad, and you could probably count on your two hands how many sequels are better than the original, and my goodness, Marvel does it again. I gave the original an 8.6 out of 10. This is an 8.8 out of 10. I'm just gonna put it out there. And overall, this is just a feel-good film. I loved damn near every second of it. You guys noticed I had some gripes with it here and there, but nothing ruined the film for me. I think it is damn near deserving of a 9 out of 10, but we can be modest and kind of leave it as an 8.8 out of 10. I say it all the time in these videos. There's plenty of great films coming down the line, especially like this last two Avengers movies. So many laughs, tears, just all of the emotions in this movie, and that's what makes for a great comic book film. Just a feel-good experience, a movie that makes you feel something, and they definitely achieved that here. Again, an 8.8 out of 10. I think this film is stellar. I think they did quite a good job with it. With that being said, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It has been your boy, GZTV, giving you guys the best movie content out there. I don't know which film is down the line. I know we're getting into Black Panther and Black Widow territory and introducing them into the Avengers very, very soon. But I got a lot to do. I gotta edit this. I got an NFL video coming out soon. We got a lot to do on the channel. I'm gonna hit the hay for the night though. Been a pleasure. Hopefully you enjoyed the video.